Hello, my name is Luca Laurenti and I'm going to introduce you to neural networks and deep learning. This introductory lecture has the goal to motivate you about understanding and using neural networks. Neural networks represent a class of machine learning algorithms that are inspired by the connection inside our brain. Actually, neural networks are quite an old class of algorithms that recently saw a surge in popularity after decline in the 90s. This surge in popularity is due to several factors. First of all, the various technical improvements of the recent years. However, perhaps the key element in the recent success of neural networks is the large computational power that is available today. Think for instance at GPUs. As we will see, training a neural network can be a computationally expensive process involving the tuning of millions of parameters. Furthermore, another element that made neural networks popular is the amount of data that are available today in the digital era. Neural networks are much more efficient and flexible compared to many other existing machine learning algorithms, so they can deal with a large amount of data. Thanks to these factors, neural networks are ubiquitous in our society and are state-of-the-art in many applications nowadays. This includes automated driving, image and video recognitions. Furthermore, they are even gaining popularity and outperforming existing techniques in other fields such as control theory or optimization. In a nutshell, neural networks are organized in layers. The first and last layers are called input and output layer respectively, and the layers in the middle are called hidden layers. Deep learning is essentially a class of machine learning that focuses on neural networks with at least one hidden layer. Each of these nodes you see are called neurons, and each of them has associated parameters and connection with other neurons. Learning with neural networks, we reduce to find the optimal value for these parameters. In summary, in a learning task, the input layer takes the data, which are then processed in the hidden layers. The output layer then produces the prediction of the neural network for that particular input. Before moving on, I want to stress that this hierarchical structure with multiple hidden layers is one of the key elements for the success of neural networks and deep learning. In fact, this structure enables the neural network to learn complex concepts as a composition of simpler ones. Consider for instance the network on the right, whose task is to map an image to a given class, car, person or animal. The function mapping from a set of pixels to an object class is generally extremely complicated, and directly learning it seems an exceedingly difficult task if tackled directly. Deep learning resolves this difficulty by breaking the desired complicated mapping into a series of nested simple mappings. Each mapping is described by a different layer of the model. For instance, while the input layer takes the pixel as input, the first hidden layer could compare the brightness of this pixel to identify the edges. From this, the next hidden layer can more easily detect part of the object, and so on until this representation of the images in terms of objects can be used to identify the class of the image. As mentioned, another key of success of deep learning and neural networks is their flexibility and ability to scale to large datasets. In fact, with the internet explosion, existing datasets are becoming larger and larger. Therefore, they require a more expressive architecture with hundreds of millions of parameters that need to be trained efficiently. A historically important example for the deep learning revolution is the ImageNet challenge. This is a famous challenge from the mid-2000s that requires machine learning models to recognize images from 1000 different classes using a dataset of 1.2 million of images. Each year, state-of-the-art algorithms were tested on this challenge to try to learn the dataset efficiently. Well, from 2012 onwards, all best scoring teams basically use neural network. This shows once again how neural networks are state-of-the-art in image recognitions. I hope that this introduction and the example of success of neural networks have given you the further motivation to go deeper into the study of neural networks.